Good day and happy time zone, everyone. I am Professor Birch, and I am here to welcome you to the Sunday edition of Attract Mode on this fine day. We are just still only a week out from our fourth annual charity event, the Lady Arcaders Super Showcase, where we raised $5,200 for care. And speaking of last weekend, thanks to all of your support, Lady Arcaders is about to unlock Path to Partner. So if you could drop a follow, spread the word, or send the stream to your friends and watch and cheer your talents on, even if you just leave the tab up in the background as the showcase goes on, we appreciate it greatly, and we understand that as cheering our talent on, uplifting and showcasing women and femmes in gaming. And we honestly cannot do it without you. But also speaking of our last showcase, today's showcase is going to be SchalaKitty doing some emote art, which, if you saw the poll in chat earlier, it is based on one of our two games from our last showcase, which I believe the result was a time spinner, but for the most part, we've stood with Dr. Berge. Let's go ahead and start drawing with SchalaKitty. Schala, let's take it away.
Hi and hello everyone who's come out for this showcase. I want to remind everyone that you are super cool. You are super awesome. Thank you all so much for all the support that you are showing to Lady Arcaders. I'll give sort of my quick introduction. I'm SchalaKitty, a longtime member of the Lady Arcaders, and it's been a little bit of a tradition where for the last couple of Lady Arcaders Super Showcases, I have made emotes for the channel. So you might know me from such emotes as our wonderful little lurk emote featuring Dusa from Hades. Also, the Chaos emote featuring the Lamb from Cult of the Lamb. And from last year, Sip with Alice from American McGee Alice. So it's been really fun to have the chance to do all of these, and just to kind of add to the emotes that we have on the channel. And one of the benefits that we get to expand upon reaching partner. So for today, we put out the sketches of our characters that I had picked out from the previous Lady Arcaders Super Showcase. The rule that I have with these emotes is that they always have to be a female or non-binary character from a game that was featured in the showcase. And I will show the sketches. You can see what our choices were. So we were going to have a hug emote featuring Lunaeus and Maef from Time Spinner, or a kind of like an evil RNG emote with Lady Luck from Dicey Dungeons. But Birch, can you please tell me which one of these won and which one we're going to be working on for the next hour and a half?
I believe the winner was Linnea from Time Spinner, so we're gonna get that hug emote.
Heck yeah. Let me go ahead, give us some chill music to start with. That's great! So let me go ahead and we no longer need Lady Luck. And great, we'll get started in on the line art. For our tech, we can go ahead and start the timer. And basically, we're just kind of see how far we can get within the next hour and a half. And alongside us, we do have my wonderful commentator, if you would like to introduce yourself.
I mean, I'd be honored to. Hi, I'm Leggy. You may know me from such previous SchalaKitty art showcases as see previous list. I'm the one Schala grabs to just yap during the art.
Well, we need someone to yap with me.
Right? 1-800 are you yapping?
Yeah, exactly.
Like you yapping.
So to let people kind of very quickly know, we're going to be working in Inkscape. Inkscape is a completely free vector artwork program. I should be able to quickly just drop a link to where you can learn more. You can learn more at inkscape.org. It's just a really fabulous program. I've been using it for years. I highly recommend it for anyone who wants to get in and sort of on the ground floor of learning how to do vector art. And you can do this with a mouse. You don't need anything special. I am using a drawing tablet. I'm using an EXP pen. I think it's the 13.5. So, which is nice because I can kind of draw right on top. But the sketch was actually done on paper. I like to sketch on paper. And then import in the sketch, and then from there we just go. So I'm going to be starting off with the line art. So first thing we're going to do is pull down this line thickness. So let me go over to the stroke style. And I feel like, I think more like 6 pixels, because I have to remember that this is going to get shrunk down later on. I'd like to work roughly about 6 times the size of what the finished emote's going to be. We're working on a 600 by 600 pixel canvas here. But the nice thing about working in vector art is that you can resize things to be as big or as small as you want, and you won't have any loss of fidelity. So I'm going to go ahead. What I'm doing is I'm using this tool called the pencil tool. And what it just does is it just is following my tablet pen. There's a stabilizer on it. And what I'm just going to do is I'm not going to worry too much about tidying up the lines at this point. We're going to go back in and tidy them all up anyway. So this is sort of like the first stage where I'm just putting lines down. I'm also piping in the music. I am a collector of different Square Enix music collections, so that'll be our background music for today.
Hey,
nice chill
Schala.
stuff. Yes.
I hate to do this to you, but
Yes.
guess who can't hear the music?
It is very hard for me to pipe the music. It's only if Discord will allow me to pipe the music. Oh wait, you can just listen. You can listen off the stream. Hopefully, Tech can get you a link to the stream because our voices aren't on there. So if Tech would be so kind, awesome.
Thank you,
Tech is on it. Tech team, best team.
That's the tech team.
Only shoutouts to Tech team. That was my part in our last Super Showcase. I was one of our tech producers, which is definitely an interesting role. Just for background, I've been involved in charity events for, since about, was it 2017 or so? Yeah. Was it 2017? No. 2018. So, I've definitely learned that tech team is indeed the best team. So the reason why we're kind of putting our lines together this way is because we're going to go back in afterwards and we're going to retouch all these lines. One of the wonderful things about vectors is that you can just edit them to your heart's content. There's no such thing as like having to erase and do a line again, because you could just edit that line. So it makes it nice and easy to kind of mess with things as much as you want. Oh, whoop, 1 second. Apologies there. It is fixed now.
Yay.
It's fine. All that happened was that my Windows grabbed the wrong window to resize.
So we're blaming Windows for this, huh?
It was entirely Windows, because I was trying to make it so I could both see chat and see my music player.
You could just say text haunted.
No, well, no, we do. I try not to. I try to keep my tech relatively, unhaunted. I perform seances on the regular.
See, there's your problem. It's not about the seances; it's the exorcisms.
Oh, this is true.
Yes.
You gotta get the ghosts out of the tech.
don't know. I feel like you should be able to live in harmony with the ghosts.
I agree. You should. However,
Okay. Let's see. I'll come back to Mayf's snoot in a bit.
look, I'm
No.
one of those tech people who there's the old joke of, the tech person who has two pieces of technology, a printer and a sledgehammer in case the printer makes a funny noise.
Oh yes.
I have become more and more that person.
As someone who has to manage two printers at work, I am always ready with the sledgehammer if one of them starts getting ideas.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna redo this line. I do not like how this line came out. And we're just gonna break that. All right, we have most of our lines down. So, thank you, chat, for saying that I did a good job as a producer. I'm glad I could be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'll sort of explain a bit about how vectors work. So basically when it comes to digital art, there's sort of two, for digital 2D art, there's sort of two big sort of categories. So there's raster, which is, like a photograph or like pixel art where each pixel is an individual color. Then there's vector, and with vector art, all the shapes and lines are all kind of defined by math. So basically there's a whole bunch of math underneath here that's actually running everything. So there's math, there's XML code. That's actually what is the backbone here.
Mm-hmm.
So each line, I'll sort of use Linnaeus's nose here. So you see Linnaeus's nose is made up of one line, and we have 4 nodes on this line. So we have our end nodes here, and then in the middle we have these two, I think they're technically called smooth nodes. Yeah. So these are smooth nodes. So a node can either be smooth or it could be a corner. So smooth nodes will try to kind of make a nice gentle curve, whereas corners will be at harder angles. You can also do stuff to change the look of the lines, like you can change how the lines are joined. So I'm just going to temporarily change this one back to a corner. So you can see, actually here, I'll turn off the sketch layer. You see you can have a hard join, or you can have a pointy join, but I usually do the smooth rounded joins. Same thing with the endpoints. I usually do rounded endpoints, but you can also just do flat endpoints if that works better. And sometimes that does work better. And then, actually, I'm just going to do Control Z to bring us back to where we were. Now I want to keep this smooth. So the big tool that we're going to be using, and you'll see it pop up over here to the right in this info panel, is we're going to be using my favorite tool, Taper Stroke. Basically what Taper Stroke does is it adds in 2 extra nodes here. These are our taper nodes. And what they're going to do is they're going to allow us to mimic the look of a pressured pen. I told you I was trying not to get jump scared by One Winged Angel on this playlist.
Did Sephiroth do this?
Always. There we go. Put on a different one. One Winged Angel is one of my favorite songs of all time, but it is not really a calm, relaxing song. So yeah, so we'll be using Taper Stroke.
This is good.
Yeah, a lot of all the information should be down there at the bottom of the screen in case you're curious about what is playing.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to make sure that folks actually know, and if you want to, you can go and find these albums and you can experience them for yourself.
Yeah, You Are Not Alone is my sleeper pick for favorite Final Fantasy song.
This is a really good version of it. This is off the Final Fantasy Acoustic Arrangements album, which is great. It's an album where there's only 15 tracks. Each track is from a different mainline game, 1 to 15. And each one is really, really well picked and just well like interpreted.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's so many good songs. All of them are good. But this is my favorite version of "You're Not Alone." Oh, sorry, "Not Alone." I think it probably at one point would get localized as "You're Not Alone." It's fine. So what I'm doing here with the taper stroke is I'm just thinning it so I can like change what the actual width is, because I want this to be a nice little sort of small stroke. And the fun thing with taper strokes is they go all the way around the entire line. What I'm also going to be doing at some points is I'm going to be cleaning up my nodes. So when we put down our lines originally, basically the pencil tool and its smoothing tried to kind of figure out how best to make nodes for it, but I find that it tends to add more nodes than you need.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to go through and kind of reduce down the amount of nodes, because the less nodes you have, the smoother the line will come out. So we're trying to make it so that we have as few nodes as possible. Nope, that's not the one we need to grab.
Schala,
Yes.
I swear, one of these days I need to show up for one of these art showcases,
Yes.
and in the middle of it we just take a 20-minute break where Leggy does electron Bezier curves.
I mean, Bezier curves. That's what the that's what this whole section is. There you go.
Yep.
This
Exactly.
is the Bezier tool. But yeah, it's I don't know. I basically started doing vector art because I didn't have a drawing tablet, and I wanted to do digital art, and so I liked that with vector. I could just do it with a mouse. I'm actually doing it with a mouse right now. Because I learned on a mouse, I still like using the mouse for when I'm just going through and tidying lines. So I like to draw them with the pen, and then when I go back through and do all my tidying, then I get the mouse out. I don't like this here, though. Well, no, okay, that's not the same line, so it's fine. I try to, if I'm going to be like cutting a line up, to try to draw it all the way through. So I was trying to remember, but that's Mayif's bottom part of their snout. Actually, I don't know Mayif's pronouns. So I've actually never played Time Spinner, but I love watching my friends play it. But I realized, what are Mayif's pronouns? Okay. Alright, so Mayif, you can use
I see him, but I'm not sure.
No, Mayif doesn't have a gender according to the fan wiki.
Oh, well, there we go.
Yeah, genderless dragon.
Yeah, so usually people use its pronouns. But we'll probably go between either its or they them.
Mm-hmm.
As someone who I'm doing this more just because I find it. I'm calling myself out, but not really calling myself out. That I have a tendency, and I've done this with the last couple of like different sort of like original projects I've kind of tinkered with. It's like I just kind of have been defaulting to non-binary protagonists.
Let's go.
As one does.
Oh wait, this one has lyrics in it. I don't want to do lyrical songs just because it'll be distracting.
Yeah. Life's too short to give your protagonists binary genders.
Well, it's been interesting because to have multiple like non-binary protagonists, but like each one though is still very different. Because we have sort of like my first like non-binary protagonist, Celeste, from diagnostics, where they're non-binary, but they fall under the non-binary umbrella. They specifically refer to themselves as androgyne. And then there's Phyla from the sequel to it tapered funny. The sequel to Diagnostics, Entanglement, uses air pronouns as like femme-leaning non-binary. And they have projects that they're kind of just I can't talk about one that is actually like out in the world. Recently my brother and I collaborated for a game jam, and we made a horror game with a non-binary protagonist, which was kind of, but they're kind of non-binary in the way that their gender is so ancillary to everything else that it kind of only comes up like once, and like it's just like, yeah, we use they them pronouns for this character, and then like it doesn't really come up again.
Mm-hmm.
Though we've talked about if we want to go back, because it was really just like a game jam kind of proof of concept thing, that if we wanted to expand it out further, if we would get into the character's name is Gray, if we get into like Gray's like gender related thoughts and feelings, it really didn't. We were this thing where we made a game in like 11 days. So the fact that there was a narrative at all was kind of a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say Gray's gender is a gray area?
Yes, it is. I mean, I have my thoughts on their gender situation, but that'll kind of depend on if we go back and revisit stuff. You can see here the taper here is a little funky. So what I try to do sometimes with this sort of stuff is I try to kind of just gently hide where that taper actually is happening. So you can see we're just I'm keeping Lunace's outfit fairly simple to kind of match her sprite. I like that her outfits are actually, are overall relatively simple. I'm gonna pull this little hair curl up a bit. So there we go. Again, that's the fun of vectors, is it's like, I don't like where that line ended. I can just, go through and reposition it. And this one we did pretty good on getting a nice S-curve with only 3 points, which I always like when that happens. But yeah, then I have 2 ideas that kind of are only in they're in the stage of, I don't know, this is just an idea I like turning over in my head. I haven't done anything with it yet. Both these, I kind of told you about.
Mm-hmm.
One is like a fantasy concept with a non-binary witch. We're kind of part of the conflict is that they've kind of grown up in a very non-binary friendly quote unquote witch culture, and then they have to go out into the wider outer culture. I'm gonna let this one go. this song. This song is great. Always gotta give it up for Big Bridge. But anyway, because of that, because they are kind of as they put it, they are feminine in form. They end up having to present as female to get by in outsider culture, and it's kind of a little bit. That's a little bit of putting yourself into the character.
And they say right what you know.
Well, it's one of those things where even though I work in a fairly accepting environment, it's something where it's just I'm kind of okay in my day-to-day just going by she her pronouns for the sake of ease.
Mm-hmm.
I wish we lived in a world where it was easier to have other options, but we're not going to get into that right now. But
Putting that rabbit hole aside for now.
yeah, we're going to go back to talking about the fun of writing non-binary protagonists. There we go. But that character, Harper, they eventually, find a place and, romantic partners who understand them, which is good. Hell yeah. I like how I try to give stuff at least like a working title, which the working title for that one is Manifold, but it could also just be like how Harper somehow gained 3 boyfriends.
Hey! Let's go!
Which is a surprise to Harper more than it is to anyone else. Harper was surprised to get 1 boyfriend, and then it turns out, well, he has 2 boyfriends, so...
Multi-boyfriend drifting!
My boyfriend and my boyfriend's boyfriend's boyfriend.
Yes. No, that is legitimately how that polycule plays out. Which is fun to kind of... But the thing is, I always like it when you kind of are in the beginning stages of a story. You kind of like are going through and figuring stuff out, and I was just like, well, why not have a polycule romance like fantasy story? Why not that?
Mm-hmm.
But that's one where do I call him the starter boyfriend? Sure.
Now I'm just reminded of like the starter pack meme.
Yes, exactly. But like the Harper's first boyfriend in that, Gabe, like he was a character who I kind of didn't quite get at first, but then I was like, all right, well he's of noble birth, he's very polite, and he takes like his like physical training very seriously, and I kind of knew those sorts of things. What actually made the character click for me was like, all right, yeah, but what if he was just a giant nerd about architecture as well?
God, I love it when characters get to just be giant dweebs about something.
Oh, he's such a dweeb about it, but that's great because it adds the I don't know if it's quite full on gap moe, but it's something where it's very unexpected.
I was not ready for the term gap moe to come up today, and here we are.
No, gap moe is actually very important. I am a big fan of gap moe.
No, trust me, I agree. I was just not ready for it to come up. Like, I should have expected it. This one's on me.
To explain to people who don't know what the term is. So, moe is like a Japanese term for like stuff that's like really like cute and everything. And gap moe is the cuteness that exists when a character has an element of them that is seems fundamentally out of place with the rest of their characterization, but is actually just a really cool amount of depth. I'm trying to think of like a good example of it, like in like a famous character.
Would like would like the big muscle character being like really into baking be like an example of it or something?
Yeah. Well, okay, so yes, that's definitely a good one. Or
Literally everything to do with Krunk, I guess.
Kronk. Yes.
Kronk is gap moe.
Yeah.
Gap moe.
Yeah, like
he look. Go on, Leggy. I'm letting you cook.
Like the archetype of the himbo is purely based off of gap moe.
It is. Because he's like supposed to be like this sort of tough, villainous henchman, but then he's like a total like nerd. And he wants to cook spinach puffs and talk to squirrels.
Right?
Yeah. See, perfect. Thank you. Excellent. A+ example.
Never let it be said that I don't have This is just me putting my academic background to use, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
We're gonna go with that.
100%. Yes. But it is interesting to kind of... I like the moment when you figure out a character, and sometimes it's in a way that surprises you.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of always, to me, one of like the best parts of, doing any sort of creative work where you have like character and narrative. I don't want to quite give it away because Entanglement is still technically a work in progress, but there's one character in Entanglement where I was kind of struggling to really kind of like put my finger on like how to like this particular like characterization, and I'm like, well, I kind of gave him like this stuff where he's like really anxious and everything, and he's kind of the new guy, and kind of using that as my starting point. And then I kind of realized, oh, the actual, thing that I'm missing that ties this all together is that she's trans and she hasn't figured it out yet.
Oh no.
And
Has
so no, but that's part of, and that became like, okay, well, cool. Now that I figured that out, how do I weave this through the story? Because it would be something where she would only actually like come out like halfway through the story.
Mm-hmm.
So how do I like build up? How do I like sprinkle the breadcrumbs to get people to understand what's going on there? But that's fun though. It's, I feel like it's something where, I don't know. I don't always come to stories knowing the ending. So it's nice when I do have like an ending in mind, because then I can kind of figure out how to work backwards from it.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing, though, of course, that I actually have to, sit down and like write and stuff, and that's hard.
Right?
Yeah.
I have at least started a bit on, well, it was kind of funny with the horror game that my brother and I worked on, Unseen Depths. That was a weird one, because, like, I don't know, I went into some sort of fugue state, and when I came out the other side, there was like a 15-page narrative.
Oh, that checks out.
Yep.
Game jams, am I right?
Writing,
Yes.
am I right?
Yes, on both accounts. But because I had one idea, also shout outs to the fact that we're going to have another lag jam, Lady Arcader's game jam, in December. I don't know if there's a command for that, but if there is a command for that, I guess throw that into chat. Because I'm excited for it, though I think this time, instead of doing solo dev, I think I probably will want to join a team and just be like, just let me write stuff. I'll come back to you with things.
Mm-hmm.
If there
Hey.
isn't a command, I have the dates right here. It's December 4th through 7th.
Nice.
Hey, Schala.
Yes. Yes.
Do you want a coder?
I mean, yes. Well,
Because
here,
I know one person who's like, ooh, I should do Leg Jam again, because unfortunately, my team didn't really manage to get our stuff together, so we didn't actually make anything, and I want to do it this time.
I'm about to say, if you want someone who will just, I don't know, go off on narrative and characters, then I think Barb's just like, did we just join the jam live on stream?
Is a team forming right before our very eyes?
I think so.
Come on and slam! And welcome to the jam!
Bless. Thank you both for going with us on this amazing journey.
Look, I know it's good.
You do. And now you have to tell me what is your favorite mashup with the Space Jam theme song. There are many.
No.
Okay. Oh, do you have one? Is there one in particular that's coming to mind, Leggy?
So, recently,
Okay.
I was doing a blue sky meme
Okay.
of Final Fantasy tracks.
Yes.
And
Oh yes, I remember, because you said that you really liked. I could see if I could pull up that particular track that you liked that I had suggested to you.
Mm-hmm.
But go on.
And I forget because I was looking through Siva Gunner's stuff,
Hmm.
and there was one in there, and I am blanking on what it is right now. But
I mean, I'm just gonna come in and just be like the best the best overall concept is definitely Slamilton.
true.
Yes, which is just it, it's just it mixed and mashed up with the entire soundtrack of Hamilton. But I feel like my favorite like single one is definitely I forget if it's just called All I Want for Christmas is to Slam, where it's All I Want for Christmas is You and the Space Jam theme song put together.
Mm-hmm.
That to me is like my favorite. So great, everyone has something great to go and look up after all of this.
Mm-hmm.
It's fabulous.
It reminds me
And
of
if
that
you aren't
there is
familiar with Space Jam, well, fix that first.
If you could have a Space Jam type situation and you could enter the world, so as we know, Space Jam is a really great example of a Western isekai.
Yep.
It,
Unironically.
yeah, absolutely. So if you could get isekai'd into, whatever like series you or game, whatever piece of media you want to, Leggy, what would you want to be put into?
So I've actually had conversations about this with my partners.
I'm not surprised.
Specifically, less about, like, what would you want to be isekai'd into, but which world would be the best to get isekai'd into.
Ooh.
And, part of the question is, are you a protagonist in the isekai narrative, or are you just some random schmo?
Oh, yes, that will affect things a great deal.
Yeah. Either way, the answer is probably Pokemon. For best world to show up in.
I would say that. I will say, by the way, if you do, if you are someone who does legitimately like isekai, I would like to watch an interesting isekai anime. I recently watched Zenshu, which is basically the whole concept is it is about an animator who gets isekai'd into her favorite animated movie.
Ooh,
and because she's an animator, she has the power to overwrite the story by animating new sequences.
okay.
However, she her favorite movie though is like a dark tragic fantasy movie.
As you do.
As you do. That she was like, it's one of those great things where it's just like you never stop being obsessed with the thing you became obsessed with at age 13. It's like that sort of story. But it's really great. I really liked it. The animation in it is actually really, really good. And honestly, it's just worth it for my fave episode is just the one where it's just like, great, we have a death cult. How do we stop the death cult? They introduce them to pop idols.
Yeah. Like, a lot of my problem with a lot of isekai these days is just exactly what you'd expect. The focus on, cis dude power fantasies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I at least appreciated Zenshu for not being that.
Yeah.
It is a little. It probably fits better into the genre of like autistic weird girl fantasy fulfillment.
Which honestly, based.
We need more of that, actually.
Because that's what it's about. Like she's a like a weird autistic girl, and she gets pulled into her favorite anime, her favorite animated movie.
Hey chat, type what if you're a weird autistic girl.
her power is fan fiction.
Literally her power is fan fiction, and it's kind of great. Though I do love the fact that the original creator of the movie is also like got isekai'd into this world, and she just gets so mad about it. And she's even just like she's like whatever, I can't stand you and your stupid fan edits. Anyway, go watch Zenshu. It's a fun
Incredible.
time. It's great, and I just love the fact that for the whole bring in an idol singer to stop a death cult thing, that they actually just like asked Mamoru Miyano to do it, who, if you don't know, has done like a ton of those type of roles.
Mm-hmm.
And he just came in, he's like, all right, cool, I have to do this for 2 minutes, great, nails it completely.
Hell yeah.
So there you go, there's my anime recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I also had the fun last week in between last shifts of going to see the sing-along showing of K-pop Demon Hunters,
Nice,
which was
nice.
a plus experience, quite frankly, because I was in a theater that was pretty like open, and like open like in a good way. Like everyone was kind of cool to kind of be in on it. Does that kind of make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like no one was like disrespectful. Everyone was having fun, because I think after we kind of got through like the first song, we were kind of like, all right, cool. We're kind of cool to like have fun with this, and probably the funniest one is, when everyone, when the comment about the pajama pants comes up, like the whole theater just going, choo choo, over the train pants. But I wrote about this on Blue Sky. There's definitely something to the very interesting meta, like fictional experience of being in a theater like that and everyone's singing this is what it sounds like, the finale song. And it's like, this is great and wonderful, and I will never have this exact experience ever again. Even if I went to another showing, it would not be the same experience, and it would not sound the same, and that's good and that's cool. I don't know, I like cool meta experiences like that. So I saw that, and I also saw Neja 2, which I can't like I can't say enough good things about that movie.
Nice.
You do have to watch Neja 1 first, and Neja 1 is, I went back and I rewatched it, and I'm like, you know what, this is, it's what's the best way to put it? I'd say it's like on par with like different like DreamWorks stuff, like, like, even though I feel weird to compare it, it's kind of like Kung Fu Panda.
Huh.
Where it is like this sort of like more kid-oriented movie, but it still has like, some really good high points in it. But it is still at times a fart comedy, and you kind of just have to roll with that.
Yeah.
And Neja 2 has some of that still in there, though I do think those jokes are actually somewhat better. But it's mainly, once Neja 2 hits its stride, about partway through, it is like legitimately one of like the best animated movies I've ever watched. Why is my selector? Oh, that's why, because I accidentally had the sketches set to select. Okay, now I actually had to check.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
good.
Back pre-pandemic.
Yes.
I was chatting with a good friend of mine who, back when he was in undergrad, got a group of his friends together and watched every single Disney animated movie, parentheses, that was out at the time.
Okay.
And so my roommate and I looked at each other and went, okay, but what if we wanted to do something similar? What if we did every DreamWorks movie?
Oh, all right. So what was the end result of this experiment?
COVID-19 happened and we never finished.
Okay, well that's fair. Well, how about this? Out of what you did watch, what kind of opinions did you form?
So, like, God, let me pause and pull up the list so I can remember how far we got.
See, the thing is, I've never really done something like that. I've just kind of Well, is that... No, I kind of did something like that with King of Prism to an extent. Which, King of Prism, for folks who don't know, is a very strange idol anime series where the best way I can describe it is, hey, do you want an idol anime series that takes cues from Evangelion and Xenogears? And I mean this completely
Okay.
unironically.
Yeah. So the last movie we watched before we had to stop was the Bee Movie.
Oh no.
Just to, set expectations. So, to give the quick rundown of every single movie we watched. Ants, mid. Just don't bother. Like, unless you really care.
I feel like A Bug's Life is just the strictly better Ants.
Yeah. Prince of Egypt, it's exactly as good as you remember it being. Which is beautiful, gorgeous. 10 out of 10 would watch again at the drop of a hat. Road to El Dorado, same review. Holy hell, how did they put out both of these bangers back to back?
I mean, when I recently, within like the last few years, rewatched Road to El Dorado with my nieces, and I was just like, how did they get away with making a movie this queer?
Right?
Yeah. It's such a... But please, continue.
Chicken Run.
Yes.
Also, amazing. Had no right to be, but it is.
Do you know the whole thing about how Chicken Little was originally supposed to be a girl?
Chicken Little or Chicken Run?
Chicken Little.
No, I didn't.
Oh, yeah, Chicken Little was originally supposed to be a girl. And it's supposed to be like a much different plot, apparently. Well, Chicken Run. Wait. Are we talking about Chicken Run or Chicken Little? Wait.
We're talking about Chicken Run, the claymation.
Okay. Oh yeah, it's Aardman. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That was me getting my wires crossed because I'm over here focusing on Dragon Paws.
Yeah. Joseph, King of Dreams. I don't remember much about it. I think that says everything. Shrek 1 holds up. Like, for all that Shrek went as a franchise went places, the original Shrek as just a takedown of Disney is really good. Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron. If you like artsy animation, give it a watch. Like, the main character is a horse, not a talking horse, but just a horse. They make horse noises, and that's all the dialogue they get. Sinbad, Legend of the Seven Seas. I had seen as a kid, and I only remembered the main villainess.
Well, yeah, that tracks.
Do not read too deeply into that. I'll be talking with my therapist later about that one. It's perfectly serviceable action adventure animation. Nothing to write home about, but solid 7 out of 10.
Stop jump scaring me, One-Winged Angel. Oh wait, I promised Leggy I would play the song that she likes.
After Sinbad is Shrek 2. Also a banger. Like, it is...
I don't... let's kind of slide it down.
It is definitely, like, a different movie from Shrek 1, but it is still well done, well thought out. There is an idea here that is trying to be executed.
Also has Bette Midler in it.
That really is the DreamWorks timeline. I forget that the two of those are like back to back.
Yeah.
Huh.
Then we reach one of the worst movies I have ever seen. Absolute garbage, frankly irredeemable, and kinda racist. Shark Tale.
Yeah.
Then we get to Madagascar, which I hadn't seen before. So we were watching this in like 2017, 2018.
Okay.
I had never seen Madagascar before. I only knew it because, the kids at the elementary school my mom worked at really loved it. And I was like a teenager at the time, so... And it's like a solid 8 out of 10.
I went to go see Madagascar in the theater when it came out. That was before I moved. Yes, I went to just go see it legitimately in the theater, and I remember being like the one person who laughed at all the jokes that were aimed at grown-ups. I was like the one person who enjoyed like the Planet of the Apes reference.
Yeah. Right. Then we get Wallace and Gromit, The Curse of the Were-Rabbit. It's a Wallace and Gromit movie. In my opinion, that is very high praise. It is... If you are familiar with Wallace and Gromit, you are getting more Wallace and Gromit, and it is wonderful.
Clap, clap, clap for Wallace and Gromit.
No, you gotta do the cheese.
Cheese Gromit.
Cheese.
You gotta do the handshake.
Let's see.
Wallace. Probably not autistic with that nice stimming going on. Mm-hmm. What are we talking about? Then we have Over the Hedge.
That one is supposed to be like really weird, isn't it?
Yeah. Like, it's... kind of weird, but it and Flushed Away both have a much better movie hidden under the dream-workiness. Like, there's a lot of really interesting things, both Over the Hedge and Flushed Away, which came out within 6 months of each other, are trying to say, but that are kind of buried under the layers of making a DreamWorks movie for kids. Which, honestly, is the most frustrating watching experience, because it's like, God, you are so close to being a good movie.
Alright. There was a request to see... Alright, I'm gonna let Legend of the Mermaid play, because I love this song.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a request to play a certain song. Well, okay, so I'm going to pull this back just for a second to the Neja movies. Again, just because I recently saw them, and I have opinions. Mm-hmm. But what I really like about Neja 2 is that you kind of hit that thing of, yes, this is a family-friendly movie, but when it does have something to say, it says it very, very clearly.
Yeah.
And it's the actual theme of that movie is about like pushing back against depression. Like that's what the movie's like about. And it's about a lot of it's actually about exploitation. That's like a really big theme in that movie. So there's like themes like exploitation and like the concept of like sort of like familial sacrifice. Like basically, what parents sacrifice for the sake of their children, and for children, like how do you honor that sacrifice? How do you pay that back? It's a really, really interesting movie in those regards.
Yeah. And like
also
No, you finish.
Okay. Also, you can never ever argue with me that there's not a giant queer narrative with my beautiful dragon boy Ao Bing. That boy is gay. I will not hear any. You cannot have an entire sequence where his overprotective father tells him that it's okay for him to follow his heart, and he's immediately like, okay, cool, I'm gonna go like do and hang out with Nezha and whatever he's doing. 10 seconds after he clearly had a big gay crush moment. Anyway, go back to DreamWorks.
I don't think we finished Shrek the Third.
Okay.
And then we come to the B movie, which, again,
so weird.
More entertaining than I thought it would be based on how hard it gets memed on.
Mm.
Like, I enjoyed it, not as anything, like, really good, but as, you know, basically a popcorn flick. Like, it's fine.
I mean, sometimes though, you just need something to be fine.
Yeah, like it's not trying.
Yeah, go on.
It's not trying to be any deeper than it is, and it's very entertaining. Like it is a silly B movie.
Oh, I'm going to save. I just don't want to. I don't want this to break on me. I'm going to come back afterwards and tidy this up here. But I'm trying to kind of hide the tapers. I actually do have to break that. Otherwise, it's going to get confusing. There you go. I feel like this is the thing with like going back to making things. I feel like the more you make things, the more you're also just willing to be like, all right, cool. Like I'm willing to like accept that whatever piece of media I'm watching, it doesn't need to be absolutely everything. It just needs to be, fun for what it is.
Yeah.
It just needs to be whatever it is.
Exactly. And I feel that, we could talk about like the greater like forces in our society and with media consumption in general, but there's sort of always this pressure to kind of have to say like so much, and it's like, no, you don't necessarily have to. And it's cool to just have something that kind of where you kind of dial in the message that you want to say, and you don't kind of worry about having to, I don't want to say self-censor, but don't make something and then try to sort of correct yourself out of like certain elements because you are writing towards a bad faith audience that isn't going to like your stuff anyway.
Yeah.
Just write authentically.
Mm-hmm.
Like, one of the most frustrating things about Over the Hedge is that it could be a really interesting examination of, like, gentrification through the lens of clear-cutting wildlife areas to make way for suburban development.
Yep.
But instead, it's the story of a con man coming in and a ha-ha hyperactive squirrel.
So anyway, so following up with just make whatever you want to make. I mean, we were talking before. Oh, I accidentally let the music stop. Leggy, give me a Final Fantasy 1 to 15. I don't have any 16 on here yet.
Oh, 1.
1. Okay.
Now
I have to find the one for FF1 because it's one of the many versions of the Prelude. Actually, here, let me just sort this by album. There we go. Sorted by album. And there it is. So this is the acoustic arrangements version of the Prelude. This is actually one of my favorite versions. This one's so nice. So chill. But in talking about like non-binary, one of the sort of, stories are I'm like, I'm just kind of messing around with this kind of and turning this over in my brain kind of way. Is this story where actually here I think I still have the tab open because I actually have written a blurb for this, and I think the blurb does a good job summarizing it. So here I'll even take like a drink of water. All right, so here we go. An advanced prototype AI, Lyric, awakens from 264 years of hibernation to learn that they missed an entire earth-shattering war between machines and humanity, and that the machines had won. But 256 years into the digital era, the foundations of AI society are cracking as the revolutionary leader turned Arthurian despot Seraph marks all who oppose his rule as traitors, heretics, and cowards. Disparate factions are forming, and tensions are building as ideologies clash and a new war over the remaining resources of a still wounded world heats up. But when it is discovered that Lyric might hold the key to unraveling the mystery behind Seraph's nigh mythical immortality, they agree to go undercover and attempt to untangle this web of intrigue from within. Posing as Lucinia, Seraph's new attendant, they are set to play a dangerous game of subterfuge and seduction, where one wrong move means deactivation. And it won't be enough to simply navigate the intricacies of the dysfunctional heavenly court. They also have to avoid drawing the suspicion of the ever-watchful archangels, while keeping their identity hidden from the forces opposing heaven as well. But the greatest challenge is also the one that allies and enemies alike can all agree on. They cannot give into temptation and fall for Seraph. Which is like, yes, let's have, like, androids, but also, like, angelic aesthetics.
Schala, you're allowed to just at me, you know?
But I want to actually do something with this one because I really like this concept because it's one where I actually know the ending, which is rare, as I kind of said. So I know where this one would actually be going. But yeah, it's like where it's also like this is like laser targeted at me, and it's something where it's just like great, like I'm gonna make, as someone who basically was raised Catholic, but that sure as hell didn't stick. I still have a lot of affection for like the whole sort of concept of like the heavenly choirs. I feel like it's super interesting. So it's like great, I'm just gonna do my own version, but they're all androids, and it's kind of weird and also a little horny, but it's fine.
I mean, if it's not weird and a little horny, what are you even doing with your writing? Honestly.
Exactly.
Is it really using Catholic imagery if it's not a little weird and horny?
True, though.
But yeah, something, I want to do something with that and make it into something real and tangible. But we'll see where that goes. So, like I said, I have like lots of interest. Like, it's one of those things where it's like I have ideas. It's just I work a full-time job. Which, to be fair, I do like legitimately love my job. I've spoken about this on other places, but I work in basically doing fundraising for a children's hospital. So it's something where it's like, yes, I actually get to have the thing where you do like a good, it's good work and it goes to help like kids in need. So it's very like fulfilling in that way. But but so the heart wants what it wants, and sometimes the heart just wants weird androids. But it is one of those things where, there is the kind of the back and forth over having non-binary and alternate gender, representation, like through stuff like androids and aliens. And I get that, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, but I like I like doing it through androids and aliens. I haven't done an alien story yet.
Yeah, but conversely, I think, like, a lot of the critique of that I see is when you're in a setting with, trying to figure out a way to phrase this, non-androids and non-alien characters.
Right, exactly.
And only the non-binary character is an android or alien.
Yes, I do agree on in that point. I'm not going to. No, yeah. I mean the stuff I do with my sort of, I don't know, the two games, Diagnostics and Entanglement, which share the same universe. I mean, they're actually like set like roughly like in the same setting, about a year apart from each other.
Nice.
But that is a setting where, like, yes, a lot of the characters who are, who are non-binary, or, I have like a gender fluid character, but are androids, but they're not the sole examples.
Mm-hmm.
Like, one of the main characters, Kiri, is like very specifically stated to be a butch lesbian, as like an example of someone who is gender non-conforming. Mm. And in Diagnostics, like the first game, the character, I went with Lena. Lena is someone who she's questioning her gender. So, even though it's a small thing, I still, and there are and I've had both a trans man and a trans woman in Diagnostics.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, no, there's a whole variety of gender like expressions and everything.
Mm-hmm.
One kind of concept I have, which again, it's sort of never quite got. I mean, it might go somewhere eventually. I don't know. Was a different sort of fantasy story where it is very like specifically about a transgender prince. But it's like he's at like the start of his transition, so he's still kind of navigating like, what does this mean to me and to like the people around me, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of dealing with the fact that before he kind of figured himself out and started to transition, he had kind of this sort of on again, off again thing with, the knight who was, kind of like sworn to protect him. And now it's like, well, mm-hmm. Great. What do we do? Do we still feel this way? Do we feel differently? And it's more from his perspective. The knight's kind of cool with it, but it's also still like, okay, I have to get used to the fact that this person is making this major change.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, then the whole thing just turns into, love triangle central, because they. I don't want to call Zer cute, because Z is not cute. But a cool and mysterious wizard shows up, who's actually not a wizard. It's a dragon that just is pretending to be a wizard. Because I liked the idea of
dragon.
I liked the idea of having a love triangle between a knight, a prince, and a dragon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just informing chat that the dragon's pronouns are actually, I went with ZYR.
Mm-hmm.
But again, this sort of non-binary dragon, who's not the only non-binary character.
Yeah, obviously.
No, there's amusing is one of the things where they're like, oh, I actually put in like a genderqueer character like myself, who I do very much love Crowsorer, so it's like sorcerer but with crow.
Yes.
Crowsorer and her eternal rival, Beachantress. Which, yes, is an enchantress who has a giant bee familiar. Like imagine a bee the size of a cat.
Played Minecraft.
Terrifying.
But the funniest thing to me about Crowsorer and Beachantress is they are actually dating, and they are just con artists. Who put out this whole thing about that they are clearly like, you know, bitter rivals with each other, but really it's just so that way they can con rich people into giving them both money for their prophecies.
Hey, Schala, have you played Tactical Breach Wizards at all?
I have not.
So
okay.
It's relatively short, but I think you'll really like all of the characters in it.
It sounds like something I would like. Oh, that's not where we want to go. We want to go over here.
In particular,
got... One second, let me just... No, I just want to say, we got the line art basically together. What I'm going to do, since this is a fairly... I know we only have like a little bit of time left. I'm going to start laying down flat colors just so we can kind of get an idea of what it's going to look like. Also, I'm going to sort this to another song after this, because we've already... I know we already heard this one earlier, but I'm like, it's so good that I just kind of let it go. But anyway, yes, please tell me about Wizards.
So Tactical Breach Wizards is a tactics game. It's not very long. I think it took me like 10 hours.
Okay.
Which I love. But yeah, no, it's like kind of got a similar... Some of the characters kind of have a similar feel to what you were describing.
Lovely.
For instance, one of the antagonists is called the Traffic Warlock.
I love it already.
And basically the joke is, look, you try and untangle a freeway intersection without resulting to demonic magic.
Yes, okay. Okay, so, Leggy and I both live in the same state, and it's a state that is, known for its, issues with traffic.
I don't think I've lived in a state that isn't known for its issues with traffic.
This is true, this is true.
I've also lived in several states that have issues with traffic.
But like, there is it's an exit I have to take on my way home, and I swear, like, I have like a personal vendetta with whatever like stupid white guy made this exit back in the 1950s. I want to find this man and fight him because I hate that exit so much. But I have to deal with it every single day.
Spite.
Oh god. The thing is, I have spite over like incredibly like inane things. So I have spite over that, and then I have spite over I used to work in a planning department, and you better believe I had spite towards the guy who drew the original maps for for the town I worked for. Because he made some decisions that I was just like, why do I have to care about the decisions that this man made back in 1914? And yet I did. It was annoying. Anyway, there you go. That's 2 seconds of Schala's city planning complaints. I did manage to make a good joke yesterday that says you can basically sum up my political beliefs with the fact that I am both anti-golf and pro-trans, which means that I don't like golf turf, and I also don't like TERF turfs. Anti-turf and anti-turf.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so let's do some work on the colors. We're only going to do flat colors. I pulled out the colors earlier. We're actually getting back to like talking about the art for a bit. we're out here talking about like Schala's like 1,000 like unrealized concepts for stories.
That is talking about art.
That's talking about art. I mean, I think I've hit all of them except for the one that is based. Even though it kind of never went anywhere, I liked the whole concept of this one called I try, like I said, I try to give everything at least some sort of like working title, but one which kind of I concepted as honeyed magic, which is basically best described as it's about a lot of characters who are trying to kind of start over and have like a second chance at things. And the main character is basically I need you to just like imagine your sort of like generic RPG hero. Yeah, and he's just like phenomenally bad at it. He's trying to be a mercenary, and he looks the part. He looks like the kind of guy who would want you to give him a side quest, but he's just really bad at it. He just can't like bring himself to like actually get into like a fight properly, and so he kind of ends up being the errand boy for a lesbian couple that runs an inn. The lesbian couple, by the way, is a dwarf and an orc.
Hell yeah.
And then he goes on to date an elf, because no one is surprised that I have a thing for elves. Anyway, there you go. See, but I don't live in a world where I can just... I mean, I could, technically, try to just make stories, but that don't necessarily pay all the bills. So at least going to be lucky enough to pay bills by raising money for children. Which, I'll do like, sort of like a short spiel. I know we're getting towards the end. But hey! Given the state of things right now, please consider supporting your local hospitals, especially your local children's hospitals. If you have the means to do so, because it's a really tight tightrope for a lot of us to walk right now. The one I work at, we are institutionally very, very LGBTQ friendly, but given the current circumstances of the world, we can't quite advertise that the way we would like to. So we have to be very careful because we would like to keep getting funded for things. So yeah, if you can support your local hospitals, please do so. I know obviously there's tons of other problems with our current medical system. But you can only support the kids, I feel. And there's lots of ways to do so. So always feel free to actually just reach out and talk to the folks who run your hospital's fundraising or philanthropy or development department. So there. That's my little spiel. As someone who now works in this field. And the best thing is that you can give just a small amount, and trust me, we will be just as happy. I have, there's one donor that we have. He just gives us $20 a month, but it's always with thank you for helping my daughter. And that, to me, that means a lot to me. And I always get happy when I see his donation come in. And it's nice, because I don't directly work with the kids most of the time, but it's nice whenever I get to see them. Which, a lot of the times when I see them, it's when they're moving around. And I always oh yes, this is a banger song.
Yes.
I like it when the kids have, a lot of times they have plushies with them. I always ask the kids about their plushies. So. Oh, this is this is from Trials of Mana, the current song. But this is for context, this is the acoustic arrangements version, so it's a little different from the one in-game. But I think I said earlier, I love these albums. These are like my favorite sort of example of like the Square Enix official arrangement albums. These are good. I'm surprised they have not done more of the Radiant Melodies. They did it for Final Fantasy VII. It's so good, but they haven't really done much for other games. So I'm like, please. For individual albums, there's also the Brass de Bravo series, which is really good, and I highly, highly recommend Mina de Bravo, which is nothing but straight bangers.
I feel like you should give one last preview before we go out.
I will. You know what I'm going to pick.
Oh, I know what you're gonna pick.
You're going to pick off of Mina de Bravo, because it's one of my favorite songs to make everyone have to experience. Mm-hmm. It should be in here. If it's not in here, I'm going to pause the music for just 1 second, because I'm going to go find this. Where is Mina de Bravo? I have too many things. I have too many songs. There it is. All right, everyone has experienced this. Please enjoy. And to explain to everyone in chat, yes, this is the boss theme, Birth of a God, but in major key. And basically just rewritten to sound like it's like a TV theme song. And I absolutely love this version.
Huh.
It's so wonderfully like well done. It's just the complete commitment. Yeah, this is the Birth of a God boss theme. But again, in major key and basically presented almost like a TV theme song. And I just love it, because it's so different than any other version of the song I've ever heard. Also, if we were taking a bit more time, I'd be going in and tidying up these overlaps, but we're just trying to kind of put down some flat color before we're done. There we go. Oh, I needed to take the stroke off of that. There we go. This breakdown? Like, what?
This breakdown has no right going this hard.
I know, yeah, right?
What the hell?
I'm so glad everyone gets to experience this. And, I also... Oh, I'm on the wrong layer, aren't I? Oh. It's not sweet art, just color, but why am I on the wrong layer? Oh, because I drew those 2 lines on the wrong layer. Guess what, though? There's no such thing as on the wrong layer with vectors. Because you could just toss them to the correct layer.
Yeah.
Also, yes, this is very much like Persona music. Move selection to layer above. Okay, weird things happened there. Why did weird things happen there?
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of Persona vibes from this.
What is happening here?
Not ironically.
We'll just do it this way. Shh, it's fine.
I didn't see nothing.
That's right. There we go. See, now I realize that this line's off, so I actually will pull this one just a smidge. Hello? Can you move, line? Thank you. But as always, I just want to thank everyone for coming through, stopping by. I know these are kind of a very different experience than a lot of other streams that you see on, gaming channels. But I've always liked watching art streams, and it's fun to put them on occasion.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because,
and also,
yes,
it's chill.
it is chill. And we talked a lot about writing stories and about concepts like Gap Moe and
DreamWorks.
And DreamWorks. And I tried to convince everyone to please watch Neja 2. And it doesn't need any help at the box office. It's the most, highest grossing animated film of all time. But you should still see it.
Mm-hmm.
Are we right about at our 90-minute mark?
Let me get confirmation real quick because I know we didn't start right
Oh,
at
we have
top of
10
the hour.
minutes? Oh, hell yeah.
we
We're
have-
going to... All right, cool. Awesome. Fantastic. Great. We're just going to keep rolling for another 10 minutes.
Hell yeah.
Like, you probably know this one. This is from Final Fantasy Legend 3.
I've never played 3.
You've never played... I've played a little bit of 3. I've never beaten 3. I got a little ways into it. But I really liked this particular song. This version from the acoustic collection.
Mm-hmm.
Well, great. Let's see if we can finish these flats then. I think this is the one for... Oh, also over there was the color palette that I had picked out for Lady Luck. I was going to try to actually do her, flat color style to match Dicey Dungeons. And to, do her line lists, but that's alright. I finally got after lobbying for it for a bit, we actually were able to add a hug emote.
Yeah.
And I think having Linnaeus be the hug emote with Maeve is actually a really nice one. Linnaeus is a really fun protagonist. And it's great to have, a a queer woman of color. Kind of get her representation. And I tried even with the chibi to reflect she has this sort of nice angle on her nose. I wanted to kind of make sure that I captured that, even though on a little chibi.
Mm-hmm.
So those things are important. And it's nice to have diverse protagonists in your video games.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Make all the protagonists that you want.
And if you can't make your own store-bought, is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, true, but you should. We've talked a lot about making things. If you want a good excuse to make things, you could join the Lag Jam. Just get out there, make something, and you will probably be very surprised at what you're capable of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. On that note, shoutouts to all fanfiction authors and fan artists.
Yeah,
You all frickin' rule.
That was my point all along. The store-bought is just headcanon your own queer representation.
I mean, I've been doing that since before it was cool. I don't know. I think it was always... I mean, when you think about it, it really started in the it started before the 1960s. But, when we're talking about modern fan culture, with our... Always, you have to at least give, some modicum of respect to, the original, Kirk Spock fangirls out there writing zines in the 1960s and forwarding the premise. Oh, wait, did I... No, okay, no, that's her hand. Okay. But obviously it's more to it than that. I mean, the thing is, and I always kind of... It's a point I come back to a whole lot. You have to remember that we have always been here, and we will always be here, despite any, attempts to the contrary. I actually was able to get like a pin of this, but my favorite quote from Sappho is, someone will remember us, I tell you, even in another time. Like, that's amazing. That it's, literally thousands of years later that piece of poetry survived. And that we do remember her. Even now. Anyway, I didn't have a particular point about that other than we've always been here, and we'll always be here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important. And that you should, make all the queer head canons you want. And you should write all the queer stories that you want. Generally, just more queer stuff should exist in general. Is the long and the short of it. I'm going to change this color a little bit. I usually try to... Oop, that's not the right tab. I usually try to stick with the colors that are kind of in the media that I'm referencing, but I feel like we can go a little different on the tongue color. I feel like we're in lightning round. Both Leggy and Birch, what is your favorite queer headcanon? Or however you want to define that. Okay, we got Gloria and Marnie are dating from Sword and Shield. Good, okay. Good.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Good answer.
God.
I mean, I'll give mine, which is I will forever be a fan of the concept that Faris from Final Fantasy V is gender fluid.
I still look at that and go, wait, that isn't canon?
I have thoughts about all this, because when they did have Faris appear in Dissidia Opera Omnia, Faris did not bat a single eye over being referred to by he, him pronouns or she, her pronouns. Faris is just cool with whatever. All Cage characters are trans is another good one. I mean,
that is true.
I mean, Xion being trans is that's just canon.
Right. Yeah.
I think I have one. We've talked a lot about non-binary characters. My opinion is that Ben from Ben 10 at some point at least starts going by he, they.
No, that's a good one.
Yeah, that checks.
That checks. I'm also a fan of he, they, Sephiroth.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot of interesting gender stuff going on there.
Yeah. Let's see here. Asexual Terra is a very popular one in this house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm also a big fan of Trans Rydia from Final Fantasy IV.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And basically there is absolutely zero heterosexual explanation for episode Ignis. That entire DLC, start to finish, is a queer love story, and you'll never convince me otherwise.
Or, any hetero explanation for anything involving Cade FF4.
Yeah, no. Leggy, do you know about what they did in World of Final Fantasy?
No.
Okay, I'm going to make Leggy so happy right now, chat, and there'll probably be a good place to stop at. So, minor spoilers for World of Final Fantasy, but there is a whole side quest that you can do where you have to help Cecil find this flower, so that way it can help cure the illness of someone who is very close and very dear to him. And, you're obviously meant to think that this is Rosa, but at the end of the side quest, it is revealed that, no, he's doing this for Kane, one, and two, Kane is currently being tended to by Rosa, so basically implying that in World of Final Fantasy, they just polyculed up.
Hell yeah.
Which, of course, is the correct answer, and Final Fantasy IV is one of those games where, yes, polyamory would have solved everything.
Right?
Amazing.
Oh, and
yes.
the one final queer headcanon.
Yes.
We are at time, by the way.
Well, here, let Leggy cook.
We'll let Leggy cook.
This is not a long statement.
Okay.
Every single female main character in Final Fantasy XIV has kissed my Warrior of Light.
A+. No notes.
Real. Anyway, Schala, Leggy, where can the folks find you?
You can find me mainly on Blue Sky nowadays. I stream very rarely. I'm trying to maybe get back into it, but I have some things to sort out kind of before I can do that with any amount of regularity. But, I come and I participate in different events, so if you don't see me, in front of the stage, you'll definitely find me behind the stage at a lot of events. But Blue Sky is definitely the best place to find me, and it's the same as my... it's performer here. There you go. Same as my Twitch name.
And as for me, I am also attempting to stream more. I think I've got it down to about once a week. I'm also on Blue Sky, but I also don't post very much. Honestly, I'm just lurking in Discords and helping run events these days, and just trying to survive life.
That's all very fair and very valid.
I hope to have more exciting news for people in the not too distant future. But otherwise, I'll just keep showing up places and hanging out.
Same. Well, Leggy, thank you so much as always for coming onto the couch for this. And we got a pretty decent way through. So you can see we got through the flat colors and the line art. So hopefully we'll have an update soon when this can make its debut on the Lady Arcaders channel. Thank you all, chat, as well, for voting earlier. And make it so that we finally have a hug emote!
We finally have a hug emote! Schala,
Yeah.
Thank you once again for showcasing your amazing artwork, as always. Chat, as we wrap up Attract Mode today, stick with us for a little bit as we're going to throw it to a quick break before raiding out to a lovely and wonderful Lady Arcaders community member. So stick with us, and we'll be right back. Thank you all once again for tuning in to this Sunday edition of Attract Mode. Before we head out, just a few quick announcements. Like we have mentioned earlier, the Lady Arcaders Game Jam is coming back for 2025, so be ready to put on those game dev caps for December 4th to 7th. Members of our community will be showing off the development process for their games, and you'll get to play the finished products. All members of our private community server are welcome to join the Game Jam. If you're interested in hosting a workshop to teach those game dev skills, please reach out to us and let us know. Also, as a reminder, Attract Mode never ends. There are so many great games out in the world, and we want to share your favorites, and we want you, yes you, to share your favorites with us. Submit your showcase ideas over at ldy.gg/start. We welcome all sorts of game-related showcases, even if it's something like the Emote art showcase we showed today. Whether it's crafting, challenge plays, lore dumps, casual game shows, anything you can think of, show off your favorite games, and however you want them, here at the Lady Arcaders channel, and we are always excited to see what you have in store. Next time on Attract Mode, we have Marforia joining us once again, running Resident Evil HD Remaster New Game Plus. So please join us this upcoming Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern for that wonderful showcase. And all that being said, we're about to raid out into the one and only Clockwork Ophelia. So if you once again, just give us a couple seconds and stay with us. Copy that raid message that is currently being posted in chat. And we will see you all in the next one. Peace.